Hey guys, Jessica here. So today we are going to talk about pump settings and what we mean when we say we're trying to match your pump settings. So this video is in direct response to a question that a lovely client asked me this morning during her consultation because while she understood what my care plan was, she really wanted to know the science behind it. And I told her I was going to record a video. Now, just because I like full transparency and for moms to see that you're not the only one who's sometimes struggling with things. This is the third time I've recorded this video today because the first time I forgot to hit record and the second time I had it set to the wrong camera on record. So we're going to try this because third time's the charm, but I'm going to explain to you how it is that we're looking at pump settings and what are we trying to do when we say we're trying to match your pump settings because that is an essential part of the care plans that I'm talking about with moms because a lot of my moms are trying to transition from one pump to another that kind of better meets their needs. Even if they were responding well to the first pump, they want something with different features or they want to be able to use multiple pumps for different reasons. So my job is to help streamline that process. And one of the things I'm doing is I'm matching the settings. Now, this is not something that you can do with just the average lactation consultant because the average lactation consultant does not have any availability to access this information because pump companies actually do not tell us. Pump companies are not super transparent and there's no standardization in the industry. So the reason that I have the data that I have and have the ability to do what it is that I do for my clients is because I'm using data that I have acquired myself. I spend hundreds of hours every year testing pumps on a suction gauge that generates computer graphs. I'm looking at the difference between them. I'm using various gauges. I'm using different tools to try and assess it. The main things I'm looking at are going to break down to three things when I'm assessing the suction of a pump. It's going to be the suction, which on this graph is going to be how high it goes. We measure that in something called mmHg or millimeters of mercury. The higher the number that I'm giving you, the stronger the suction is. That does not mean that it's going to give you more milk because that's just not how suction works. But for this video, that's really what you need to know is I'm talking about how high does the suction go. And then I'm looking at the cycles per minute, which is how many cycles in a set period of time, in this case, a minute, this pump is going to go. So this one, we're going to say that this one is representing 150 mmHg and 60 cycles per minute, which is going to be a really good speed and suction for a lot of people, like a very common setting. So this is one that we're often looking for on pumps. And then the third thing that I'm looking for, which is where that that graphene suction gauge that I have is really valuable, is I'm looking for the pattern. So the pattern is the actual shape of the suction and what that tells me about how it establishes suction, how it decreases suction, and what it does at the peak. So in this one, we're looking at this is what we would call like, a sawtooth pattern, a straight up and down standard suction. The pump is going up. As soon as it hits the peak, it's coming right back down. It's going up, it's coming right back down. There's no pause really in between cycles. Where this becomes really relevant is that these pumps are actually running the same mmHg, the same cycles per minute, but they're functioning differently, which is that extra piece that I can bring to the table for moms, is that understanding of how the pumps are functioning differently. So for this one, it's going up very quickly. It's going to drop back down and it's going to pause. The moms who are using the pump that's going to present like this are going to feel the suction is much more abrupt. It's shorter. For some people, that's good because if you have a lot of elasticity, maybe you don't want a pump that's holding you under suction because that's increasing the stretch. But for this pump, it's going up and down and it's a very smooth motion. So this pump is going to feel shorter, more abrupt. The mom may not actually perceive the suction the same either because on this, the amount of time the nipple is under suction is decreased compared to this. So this area underneath the triangle, if we were going to color in the triangles, that is the time that your nipple is spending under suction. So this top graph is going to be less suction and less perceived suction than this bottom graph, just the way it works. Now, not every pump has the same suction pattern. So this again, 150 mmHg, 60 cycles per minute. And all I did with these is pull some of the top pumps and look at that and then recreate it in Canva. So this is nothing fancy. I didn't show you the row graphs because they are actually really hard to see on a video like this. And most people watch my YouTube on their phone. So we're trying to go very simple here. So for this one, it's going to be more like what we see with a piston pump, which, if you've been on my channel for a while, I love piston pumps because I find them to be very comfortable. So the thing with the piston is that it's going up slowly and then it's going to peak and come right back down at about an equal interval. There's no sharpness to it. It's very smooth, almost like it rolls. It rolls in between the cycles, and that's really comfortable. This graph is going to be a pump that moms are going to perceive, even though it's not going any stronger than the other ones and it's not running any faster. So 150 mmHg, 60 cycles per minute. This pump is going to feel stronger because this pump is going to go abruptly up. It's going to peak and it's going to hold and it's going to drop back down. And you know what pump we have on the market that does that? That's the Baby Buddha. So this graph is kind of representing what we see with the Baby Buddha, even though it's not necessarily inherently stronger in terms of the suction values, which I mean, the Baby Buddha is programmed to go a little stronger than a lot of pumps while double pumping. But for the settings that most people use, it's actually not any stronger than what people are using on other pumps, but it's perceived to be a lot stronger because that sustained suction pattern. So with this one, you're really going to feel the pull on the nipple. That doesn't mean that's going to be good for everybody. So for everybody who likes that smooth rolling pump on the suction for the piston pump, which is over here, for everyone who likes this, there are going to be other people who say it's too smooth, it's not really stimulating my letdown. I can feel it, but it's not doing anything. For those people, they may really like these shorter suction patterns because this is going to feel, you're going to feel that pull a little bit more uniquely to each cycle than you're going to feel with a piston. Or they may really like that sustained pattern we have with the Baby Buddha. Everybody's nipples like different things. There's no way to tell what you're going to like without really trying it, unless we have feedback from you on another pump that you've been using and how you've done with it. So that does give us a little bit of information. But why this becomes relevant. So if I put all these pumps on the same chart, they're not running the same. So this pump is going to be really, really strong, very slow, very controlled. This one down here in the middle, this one is, it's that piston pump. It's doing its thing. It may be great for some people, but it may lack the strength that other people are looking for. And it may be running too slow for other people who really need that higher cycle speed. For people who need that higher cycle speed, this top one may not only be too strong, but it may be too slow. It may not do anything for you except cause nipple pain. So what we're seeing, and the reason I'm trying to match settings, is that trying to take your body from this, let's look at this triangular graph down here. That pump is running really light and fast. It's on the lower suction side, so we're going to call that the Elvie. So if you were trying to use the Elvie and the Baby Buddha pump, I can tell you from extensive clinical experience, a lot of moms have trouble going from one to the other, unless the issue was they were using one that didn't agree with their body, and then they put the other one on, and that was what was actually going to work for their body, in which case the angels sing and the milk flows and everyone lives happily ever after. But that's not often the case. Often your body gets confused because your letdown reflex is a trained reflex. So it has been trained to respond to certain stimuli, either your baby or a particular pump. So when we're trying to change it up, we're trying to reduce as much of these variables as possible. So in this graph, you can see it's kind of all over the place. Your body's really going to struggle. For some people, I can't change the suction, I can't change the pattern, but I can match your cycle speeds. So yes, you're still going to have an adjustment because this top pump here and this bottom pump here are not running at the same suction, but they are running at the same speed. So we've reduced that one variable in order to help your body adjust a little bit more quickly. And this can make the difference between a couple of days while you're learning to use a new pump and a couple of weeks to a month, which a lot of people don't have the patience for. So ultimately, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to take you from something that was not at all working the same way. Your body's confused, it doesn't know how to perceive it, and I'm trying to reduce those variables. And in an ideal world, what I can actually do for you is I can bring it down to this, where these pumps, there's actually 4 pumps represented on here. They're all running the same cycle speeds. They're all running the same suction. So now what we're doing is we've reduced that change between the 2 different pumps that you're going to be trying to adjust to nothing more than the suction pattern. Does that mean you're going to respond equally to all of them? No, because this is going to tell us, is it the suction that you need? Is it the speed you need? Or is it a pattern that you're responding really well to? When we start matching that up is when we start to see what it is, like what is the difference that your body is responding to. Because if the suction is actually the same across the pumps, then I know it's not that you need more or less suction. It's not that you need more or less speed. It's that one pattern is better for you. So then instead of you spending lots of time trying to use a pump that's not going to work for you, I can help guide you to something else that's going to work better for you. So if I've got it down to this point, Now I'm starting to get into the finer points of the pump science to help you pair with that pump that is gonna do what it needs to do for you. My goal when I'm doing this is not to make it harder for you. And I know that sometimes it actually feels like that because you're like, well, why do I have to go see somebody and have them do it? Because this information is just not easy. It takes me hours to teach a professional this and then weeks of assisting them to actually like get them to the point that they really understand it and understand the nuances. Because I mean, just look behind me, guys. This is a fraction of the pumps that are in my office. These are the ones that are not coming out every single day. There are wearables all over my desk. There's a whole wall on the other side of the office. It's covered in wearables. There's wearables back here in this corner. They're up on top of the shelves. I am drowning in pumps and they all run different. So it is next to impossible to put this information into a readily available source for parents to be able to easily extrapolate, but it is something that we are capable of helping you do. We do it in the wearable pump paperweight group. We do it in our individual consults. The more variables we have, the more likely we are to need to get you in for an individual consult because I really need to talk to you about like what differences are you feeling? The words that you use are going to tell me what it is that your body is honing in on and what it is that's working for you. And my goal is to figure out what is working for you as quickly as possible because I want to get you pumping happy. We only breastfeed for a finite period of time with each kid, and I want you to spend as little time struggling as possible and as much time pumping happy as we can. So hopefully that makes sense of what we're trying to do here. It is a complicated science. I'm trying to boil it down to like the elementary school level here. If it still feels like it's over your head, don't worry. You actually don't even need to understand this. All you need to do is book a consult and I can take care of all this because I do understand this. And I live for this stuff, which is why I spend hundreds of hours every month testing it. It's just what I do. I love this stuff. I'm a pump nerd. So hopefully this helps somebody out there and hopefully it helps you explain what we're trying to do. So happy pumping, guys.